feel like this might be genius. But I also feel like somebody's going to come along in the comments and be like, you dumb. This quick video is brought to you by Squarespace. You can save 10% off your blog, portfolio, gallery, online store, whatever you want to create by going to squarespace.com/photorectv. Now let me show you what happens. You land there. And very nicely, Squarespace gives you this big Get Started button up in the corner. Close my little promo code, hit Get Started, and they make it really easy to actually get started making a beautiful website. What's the goal for your site? Well, many of you watching this, maybe you want to try your hand at selling photos. Or you could type just gallery. But let's see what happens. We type in sell photos. It's going to look at what we've put in, and it's going to suggest one of the best templates for us. Fulton large galleries, striking headlines with robust e-commerce features. And as you saw on that first page, this is a no credit card required free trial. So you can jump in, start building, and really see if this is going to work for you before you even have to give them your credit card information. I thank Squarespace so much for their support of this channel, and if you want to help me, well, start at squarespace.com/photorectv, and I can save you 10%. So in this video, I want to take a moment and show you how I've set up an A7R4 and an A7R3, both are identical in this case, to have the best of both worlds. That is AFS, which gives you the ability to magnify and autofocus, and AFC, which gives you the ability to have IAF working. I'm often on workshops, shooting landscapes and then clients, and it's really nice for the camera to automatically just switch back and forth between those modes as I need them. See, the catch is that wonderful IAF only works during AFC. Continuous autofocus. And the focus magnifier only works during AFS. So I'm going to show you how on this camera I've set those two things up. So first thing we're going to start with is the custom keys section. So page 2 of the camera menu, custom keys. And I want to show you that I have 2. That is the AEL button right here by my thumb, set to recall custom hold 2. We'll see that in a minute, what exactly custom hold 2 is. I also have the AF on set to, well, AF on. I am a back button focus user. My shutter button up front does not focus for me. It only takes the picture and of course metering. So my focus is back here, the AF on button. The other button that I want to show you is on top. Number 1 up here, that is set to focus magnifier. So again, I'll show you exactly what that does right now. So here I am. My standard focusing is set for AFS. And that means that if I press the back button, it goes green, I have focus, let go, focus stays right there. If I want to be very precise though in my focus and make sure that I've nailed my focus, maybe on the nose of pixel here, I can of course focus, but then my C1 jumps me to a little box. Pressing it again jumps me in 5.9 times. Pressing it again jumps me in almost 12 times zoom. And now I can focus and really make sure. I think this is really useful for landscape photography. Yes, a lot of the time using that medium spot in AFS, it's going to nail the focus for you. But there are times where I want that precision and that feedback before I take the picture that I am really sharp on what I want my subject to be. Now, I don't recommend this for moving subjects. It can be even tricky when you're hand holding, but on a tripod shooting landscapes, this can be really nice. And I can then just take my picture. But then I've got a client back there in the background hiding. If I press AEL, look how it's locked onto the eye. It's suddenly switched into continuous autofocus and switched to IAF because that's on during continuous autofocus. Let me show you how I set that up. So now we're going to go to camera 1 and we're going to go to register custom shoot settings. I talked about this before. I've got another video I linked right down below that shows how I set up custom hold 1 and the focus hold button that's out on the lens for birds in flight. but I want to show you how I have set up Recall Custom Hold 2, which is assigned to this AEL button. We go inside this and you can see that none of these are checked. That means that whatever modes I'm currently in will stay. The only ones that are checked is focus mode, sets it to continuous AF, the area wide, tracking sensitivity is set to standard. I could probably have that unchecked since mine is also set to standard, and AF is on. So the Recall Custom Holds, again, you should really go watch that other video, but it allows you to override all of the settings of the camera depending on which ones you've put the check marks in, and really powerfully turn the autofocus on. So because these are set this way and assigned to AEL, it means when I push AEL, it goes into continuous autofocus, wide area, tracking sensitivity standard, and starts autofocusing automatically. So for me, it's kind of splitting up back button focus. If I'm doing AFS, back button focus is this button. If I'm doing AFC and you want IAF to work, it's this button right here. That's all I have to do, switch back and forth between those two buttons. I really find that pretty useful. Now, it's not perfect. There is the downside of this being a tiny bit slower than if you were just sitting in AFC, because you are switching the camera's modes and then autofocusing. So I do notice a slight hesitation, but when working with clients, they're not birds in flight, it works just fine. When I'm working with birds in flight primarily, then I do switch my camera to be in AFC mode because I want that autofocus and that tracking to be instantaneous as it usually is. Let me show you the one other part of this where I want to show you the setup of the AF in focus magnifier settings. So we're going to go to page 14 of 15, and we can see that we have AF in focus mag on. We need that to be turned on. Initial focus mag, I actually usually have it set to 5.9. I'll show you the difference in a second. And that is all that you need to do here. So now again, I'm in AFS, so I can move this around. If I press C1, now it jumps me in 5.9. You saw earlier in this video when I pressed that button, it put up a box. Then another press of that AF magnifier button, which I have currently assigned to C1, then it magnified. So now I can press AF on and it focuses. It's definitely very precise, and that means that if you're low contrast area, you have that crosshair on, well, it's going to struggle a little bit. And so again, it doesn't work well in all situations, but it is really nice to get that feedback that lets you know you are definitely sharp on what you want. And from here, if I wanted to, I could just hold down the AEL button and suddenly I'm switched back into AFC and IAF working. So again, I'll put the link to the video where it shows kind of a more detailed setup of the custom shoot settings. I think this is a really powerful feature. It moves beyond having the 1, 2, 3 on the dial and really makes these cameras pretty useful in my opinion. I often will tweak those settings depending on what I'm shooting and just find it really, really useful. If you have a comment about this, leave that right down below. And if you appreciated this quick video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.